Talking to the Holy Spirit is not about saying the right words. It is about opening the heart. Many people believe communication with God requires perfection, structure, or spiritual maturity, but the Holy Spirit responds to sincerity, not performance. He listens to honesty more than eloquence. The Holy Spirit is not distant. He is present, attentive, and near. Communication begins with awareness, recognizing that you are not speaking into silence. You are speaking to a living presence who already knows your thoughts, your fears, and your desires. Talking to the Holy Spirit is less about informing Him and more about inviting Him. Start with stillness. Before speaking, learn to listen. Noise, both external and internal, can drown out spiritual sensitivity. Stillness creates space for awareness. It slows the mind and softens the heart. In quiet moments, the Holy Spirit often speaks not through loud instruction, but through gentle conviction, subtle clarity, or deep peace. Speak honestly. You do not need to impress the Holy Spirit. You cannot surprise Him. Bring confusion, frustration, gratitude, doubt, and hope. Honest communication builds trust. Pretending weakens connection. The Holy Spirit responds to truth, even when that truth includes uncertainty or struggle. Ask, but also yield. Talking to the Holy Spirit is not a one-sided list of requests. It is dialogue. After asking for guidance, be willing to pause. Guidance often comes through thoughts aligned with wisdom, nudges toward peace or discomfort that signals misalignment. Yielding means being open to correction, not just confirmation. Use everyday language. Sacred communication does not require formality. The Holy Spirit understands your natural voice. Speak as you would to someone who knows you completely. Reverence is not about vocabulary. It is about posture. Respect is shown through openness, and talking to the Holy Spirit begins not with speaking, but with awareness. Many people approach prayer as a task, a ritual, or a list of requests, but communion with the Holy Spirit is rooted in relationship. Just as meaningful conversation between people requires presence and attentiveness, communication with the Holy Spirit begins by recognizing that He is already near. He is not distant, not unreachable, and not reserved only for special moments. Awareness shifts prayer from effort to connection. When a person becomes aware of the Holy Spirit's presence, conversation changes. Prayer is no longer rushed or mechanical. It slows down. The heart settles. The mind becomes attentive. This awareness creates space for sincerity. Instead of trying to impress or perform, the individual begins to speak honestly. The Holy Spirit responds to authenticity, not perfection. Words do not need to be eloquent. They need to be real. Listening is just as important as speaking. Many people talk constantly in prayer but rarely pause. Awareness teaches patience. Silence is not emptiness, it is attentiveness. In stillness, the Holy Spirit communicates through conviction, peace, clarity, and gentle prompting. These impressions are often subtle, which is why awareness matters. A distracted mind can miss guidance that a quiet heart can receive. Awareness also reshapes expectations. Talking to the Holy Spirit is not about immediate answers or dramatic experiences. Often, guidance comes gradually. Understanding unfolds over time. Awareness accepts this process. It trusts that even when nothing feels obvious, something is happening internally. Growth often begins invisibly. Honesty deepens awareness. The Holy Spirit is not offended by questions, doubts, or confusion. Pretending to be strong creates distance. Admitting weakness invites closeness. When people speak honestly about fear, frustration, or uncertainty, they open space for comfort and direction. Awareness removes the pressure to appear faithful and replaces it with the freedom to be truthful. Daily awareness transforms ordinary moments into sacred ones. Conversation with the Holy Spirit does not require a specific place or posture. It can happen while walking, working, or resting. Awareness turns daily life into ongoing dialogue. Instead of limiting prayer to specific times, communication becomes continuous. This consistency strengthens sensitivity to guidance. Awareness also influences how decisions are made. When the Holy Spirit is acknowledged regularly, choices are approached with humility rather than impulse. People begin to pause. Talking to the Holy Spirit requires sensitivity, not formality. Many people struggle because they approach the Holy Spirit the same way they approach tasks, rushed, distracted, and outcome-focused. But communication with the Holy Spirit is relational, not transactional. It begins with awareness. Awareness that you are not speaking into emptiness, but engaging with a living presence that is already near, already attentive, already involved. Listening is the foundation of this communication. Too often people speak endlessly and leave no room for stillness. Silence feels uncomfortable, yet it is in quiet moments that the Holy Spirit speaks most clearly, not always with audible words, but through impressions, conviction, peace, or restraint. Learning to listen means slowing down the inner noise. It means setting aside the need to control the conversation and allowing space for guidance to surface. Distractions are one of the greatest barriers to hearing the Holy Spirit. A divided mind cannot discern subtle direction. When thoughts are constantly racing or attention is fragmented, sensitivity decreases. Communication deepens when attention is intentional. This does not require perfection, but it does require effort. Choosing moments of focus communicates reverence. It says that this relationship matters more than urgency. The Holy Spirit often speaks through alignment rather than instruction. There may not always be detailed explanations or clear answers. Sometimes guidance comes as a sense of peace or unease. This requires trust. Trust that God's Spirit is capable of leading without constant clarification. Learning this trust takes time and practice. It develops through experience, reflection, and obedience. Obedience strengthens communication. When the Holy Spirit prompts action and that prompting is ignored, sensitivity weakens. When it is honored, clarity increases. This is not punishment or reward. It is relational responsiveness. Just as communication improves between people who listen to each other, spiritual communication deepens when guidance is taken seriously. Emotional honesty also matters. The Holy Spirit does not require polished language or spiritual performance. Authentic communication includes doubt, frustration, confusion, and vulnerability. Pretending to feel faithful when feeling uncertain creates distance. Honesty invites presence. The Holy Spirit responds to sincerity, not image. Talking to the Holy Spirit is not complete if it only involves speaking. It must also involve listening. Many people struggle in this area because silence feels uncomfortable. We are used to filling space with words, requests, explanations, and questions. Yet communication with the Holy Spirit deepens when we learn to be still, attentive, and responsive. Listening is not passive. It is an intentional posture of awareness and humility. The Holy Spirit often speaks quietly, not with force or urgency, but with clarity that settles the heart. When the mind is crowded with noise, opinions, distractions, and expectations, that quiet guidance is easily missed. Learning to listen means intentionally creating space. It requires slowing down thoughts, setting aside assumptions, and resisting the urge to control the conversation. The Holy Spirit is not impressed by long speeches. He responds to openness. Listening also requires discernment. Not every thought is divine guidance. The Holy Spirit's voice carries a distinct quality. It aligns with truth, produces peace rather than confusion, and encourages growth rather than fear. It does not contradict wisdom or promote pride. Learning to recognize this voice takes time and practice. Just as relationships grow through familiarity, sensitivity to spiritual guidance develops through consistent attention. Obedience is the proof of listening. Hearing without responding weakens clarity over time. When the Holy Spirit prompts action, whether it is to forgive, speak truth, wait, or change direction, obedience strengthens connection. Disregarding guidance dulls awareness. The more consistently one responds, the clearer the guidance becomes. Obedience is not about perfection, it is about willingness. Many people desire direction but resist instruction. They ask for guidance while hoping the answer will confirm their preference. True listening requires surrender. It means being open to correction as much as comfort. The Holy Spirit does not only affirm, He refines. Growth often comes through redirection. Trusting this process deepens communication. True communication with the Holy Spirit is not about perfect words, religious language, or forced rituals. It is about relationship. It begins with sincerity, continues with listening, and grows through obedience. When you speak honestly, remain attentive, and respond with humility, that connection deepens. Over time, guidance becomes clearer, peace becomes steadier, and direction becomes more personal. Talking to the Holy Spirit is not a moment. It is a way of living aware of God's presence. As that awareness grows, faith matures, decisions gain clarity, and life aligns more closely with purpose. The invitation is simple. Speak with openness, listen with patience, and walk forward with trust.